Let's podcast. Alongside Joe Giglio, I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management. It is spooky week. Halloween is on Friday. Don't pay attention to the commercials that have already told you it's Christmas. We still have Halloween to get through on Friday, okay? And what's spookier than any movie that you might watch this week? What's scarier than the power play stats for the Carolina Hurricanes? it's hidden print costs. You don't want to look at what kind of money you're wasting if you have not moved over to Copiers Plus. That is scary. That is frightening. So check them out online at copiers-plus.com. From frightening to funny, I have a question for you, Joe, to start today's program. What would be funnier? Brian Kelly, who just got a big old check to not coach at LSU. The same guy who had to leave Notre Dame because he had to win a national championship. Remember, the whole reason was to win a national championship at LSU. That's where you go to win national championships. And apparently Brian Kelly's such an asshole that even after the meeting, they went, nah, we're done here. Like, we're going to give you a chance, Brian. Oh, wow, you're really about this, aren't you? All right, now we're done. Here's a check. Get the hell out, dude. What would be funnier? Brian Kelly in Chapel Hill trying to integrate himself with the Chapel Hill elite, or trying to be all hand in the dirt with NC State?
Well, he's a chameleon, as we know.
Exactly.
He can adjust to any situation.
My family.
So
what would be funnier?
He's a good coach. This never made any sense from the beginning, him going from Notre Dame to LSU.
Yeah.
Never made any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I could see why any coach would say, well, shit, if Ed Orgeron can win a national championship there, I can.
Right.
Well, Les Miles is out here chewing grass. Les Miles is, up until last year, was the first coach in the history of college football to lose 2 games in a season and win a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So if he can do it, I can do it. I can.
And they all
see
did
that.
it. They all did it within 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it culturally, even the way that he likes to play, he claims to be like this offensive guy with his own ideas, but truth of the matter is he's not really known for an exciting brand of football.
No.
He's known for like not making mistakes and kind of winning with what he's got. It was one of those things where it was like, really? I remember calling Mike Archer, a former LSU coach, and be like, really? Why would they hire him? I don't get it. I think they were kind of desperate. They wanted Lane Kiffin, couldn't get him, I guess. We'll see if they can get him this time.
I think it's hilarious that the big fish this year is Lane freaking Kiffin, of all people.
Well, they'll be Florida and LSU will be fighting over him.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
Now, given Carolina and NC State, their ADs, both Notre Dame guys, given their affinity for all things Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I have a new name for NC State, by the way. Given their affinity for all things Notre Dame, I could see them having a conversation with Brian Kelly. He's a good coach.
Sure.
I could even see Brian Kelly being like, Belichick couldn't win there. One way I could rehab my image is by going there. I could win 10 games. I mean, Brian Kelly's won 10 games every place he's been.
Right.
So he could do that. Anything else?
This is another one of the classic triangle good challenges. Okay.
Yeah.
This is another triangle good challenge that I present to you. But come on. It would be funnier if he was at NC State because he could dust this off.
The summer before my senior year of college, I'm playing minor league baseball. I called my football coach at NC State and say, hey, coach, I'd like to come back for my senior year. And he told me I wasn't coming back. He said, listen, son, you're never going to play in the National Football League. You're too small. There's no chance. Got no shot. Give it up. Of course, I'm on this side of the phone saying, so you're telling me I'm not going to come back to NC State? I won't see the field? He said, no, son, you won't see the field.
I'm pretty sure that Brian Kelly can do a better Southern accent than Russell Wilson.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But Wolfpack ain't for soft people. All right. And if you were this much of an a-hole with LSU, well, something tells me things would also go like this at NC State too.
You also have the data point of Brian Kelly playing in a hurricane,
right?
And 9 inches of water on the field and attempting 27 passes.
Can you imagine selling that to NC State fans? Hey, we're going to hire Brian Kelly. And mind you, he's got all the success and all they're ever going to do goes, you mean the guy who threw it a bazillion times in a driving rainstorm?
Yeah, we're good. Thanks.
Nah, and he lost to Dave Doeren, who we want out of here? Nah.
It does feel like a qualification. At any point, have you lost to Dave Doeren? Checks box. Sorry.
Off you go. Off you go. Anyway, this is something we can spend a little bit more time talking about tomorrow because we are on a 30 for 30 level of college coach firings. We are going to surpass, I think, the 2023 record of buyouts. Right, we're already at 140 million in buyouts.
I guess it's fake money. It's not.
No, it's just a fun fact. I just think it's
not a fact though. It's off. There's offset money to it. So you're being like Steve Sarkisian.
Okay, Mr. Literal.
I know, but you're like, I don't like that stat. Is what I'm saying. It's not a real stat.
You mean future Tennessee coach Steve Sarkisian?
No, Titans
coach.
Yeah, future NFLer.
Man, what a freaking weekend. But let's start with NC State and North Carolina. We'll start with the Wolfpack. I know earlier this year, I think it was after the Virginia Tech game, right? You had said things were about to get toxic.
Yes.
Actually, think it's gotten worse than toxic. Apathetic. That's kind of where we're at right now with NC State after they lost to Pitt. The game kind of played out how we talked about last week. I believe we talked about this on Thursday, that this was going to be a high-scoring game. Pitt's got a pretty decent, at least just metrics-wise, they're an okay, pretty decent team, and their games have been in the 30s. And given NC State's defense this year, what we know about their defense or lack thereof, their struggle to stop people, NC State was going to have to be flawless offensively. And they go 3 and out. They turn that around. Pitt scores, and it was kind of it. Now, things kind of slowed down a little bit. I think there was at one point NC State could have taken the lead, but I never really got the sense in watching the replays last night that, because I was in Delaware, we'll talk about that later. I never really got the sense in the highlights that I watched that Pitt was really all that concerned with getting the points that they're going to want to get. And then you end up getting the final score that you did. And when I say apathy, I got a lot of responses like this, and we'll get to the sports phone as well from Clay on Blue Sky. I can tell the Doeren era is dead because my NC State group chat has been silent since the Campbell game ended. I'm not angry at him, but I would like him to retire so we can do something else. And again, we'll play some more sports phone calls a little bit later on that are on a similar track, but that's kind of where my read is with NC State. There's just no juice. I keep using that phrase. There's just no more juice left with NC State and Dave Doeren. And what are you playing for the rest of the way? Not to get embarrassed by North Carolina? Because that's the other thing that I've been seeing, that NC State fans are convinced that the one ACC win that North Carolina will get will be at Carter Finley Stadium at the end of the year.
Yeah, Mason Heinschel threw for 423 yards in this game with 3 touchdowns. That's Pitt's true freshman quarterback. In the first half of this game, Pitt scored 31 points. They look like Dan Marino and the 83 Pitt Panthers out there. 0 sacks for NC State in this game. Now on the season, they've played 8 games. They have 11 sacks in the entire season. That includes whatever they did against Campbell, of course. Tied for 112th in the country. The other metric you should always look at on defense are turnovers forced. 8 games, they've forced 7 turnovers. That's tied for 103rd.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Peyton Wilson being at a Krisher Stadium, having to watch his former team, the school that he put on his back and made so many big plays for, having to watch that defense get carved up by Pittsburgh and Mason Heinschel, not Dan Marino, not Kenny Pickett, but Mason Heinschel. They have no talent on defense. They have a lack of talent on defense. They have a lack of playmakers on defense. Offensively, I thought they played a little bit better, but this was certainly not the effort I expected after an open date. To your point about the juice, you're seeing the message disconnect now. It's not necessarily about the fans, which is obviously important, but about the players.
Yeah.
After an open date, after some of the performances, we've seen Dave Doeren be able to go to the well and get the best out of his team. That did not happen Saturday at Pittsburgh.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
OG Sports Phone brought to you by Nature's Relief. Check them out online, naturesreliefhempstore.com. They'll deliver. They got everything that you need. You want something to smoke, they got it. You want something to eat, they got it. You want something to drink, they got that too. And given some of the football we've been watching, heck, even some of the overreaction to exhibition basketball games from the weekend, you might need some Nature's Relief to take the edge off. So check them out online at naturesreliefhempstore.com. Continuing with the no juice theme for NC State, this is a 704 apathy call.
Hey guys, love the show. So I'm gonna do you a big favor on your show prep. You can save some time. You do not have to talk about NC State football ever again, or at least until Dave Doeren is no longer there. Okay, I don't want to hear about their games. I don't want to hear about their players. I don't want to hear about all of them that are going to leave at the end of the season. And I especially don't want to hear about Dave. I don't want to hear about his mediocre record there, all his time, or anything about it. I'm done. It's not even like apathy. It's more reservation. I'm just reserved to the fact this dude is not going to ever get it done again in the NIL era, and there's no need to talk about it or even waste any time. It's just a complete waste. I'm not watching, not listening on the radio, not doing shit with him until he's gone. I'm just done. I've had it. Thanks.
So that's the apathy, but there are still some true sickos out there, Joe. True sickos.
Oh, we know one.
We know one. I saw this call come in at 2:30 in the morning. You know me, I check my email Sunday morning. I'm sipping on some coffee, going through stuff, and I get the little Google alerts. And I see one that had come in at 2:30. I'm like, that can only be one guy. It was Steve who went to this game
and drove back.
And drove back after the game.
What up, Joe Squared? It's 2:30 in the morning after the game. And for some reason, I am driving all the way back home from the loss. And I was just thinking about how terrible our defense was and how we have offensive players that we are afraid to run plays for. And we look worse every week. And how can we continue to just get worse every single week? It makes no sense whatsoever. We had too many men on the field because we always have to make a substitution. We had a play at the end of the first half where we're on defense. Dave lets 22 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, run off the play clock. And then he goes, oh, I'll call timeout. So if we get the ball back, I'll have time. Like, what are you doing? There was only 13 seconds left on the play clock. Like, what are you doing? We are such an embarrassment. Unbelievable. And I never thought I would be driving home still 8 hours later. But I'm only 7.5 hours later. I'm less than 30 minutes away from the crib. So State did not get an extra hotel stay out of me. All right, just where it's.
It's a bridge too far. You're not getting any more money out of me on this one.
So Steve doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs.
Yeah.
But he does travel to NC State football games. Much like the Hurricanes are Tom Dundon's kink.
Mm-hmm.
NC State football and traveling for NC State football and basketball are Steve Young's kink. So salute to Steve for making the trip. State's now basically lost 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
The only win since Wake Forest was a scrimmage against Campbell. And it's kind of funny. If you go back to the beginning of the season, State fans weren't happy when they beat ECU. ECU's pretty good football team.
They are a good football team.
Virginia.
Looking for, which we'll get to in a second.
Virginia. Who they beat in spite of Virginia having a horseshoe lodged squarely in their rectum.
Yeah.
They beat Virginia. The only loss, the Cavaliers, who are the most overrated team in the history of college football.
Got to rank 25 of them, man. Got to rank 25 of them.
They beat Virginia.
I know.
And then you would argue Virginia's the best story in the ACC this year. Tony Elliott fighting for his job, staying alive, first place in the ACC. Right behind Virginia in best stories in the ACC this year, Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Wake Forest, they have now 5 wins. Jake Dickert, the darkness.
With nothing.
With not a lot.
Nothing.
Not a lot.
Yes.
Okay. They managed to squeeze SMU. SMU finally loses a scheduled ACC game.
Welcome.
Hat tip to Chip Patterson for pointing out. Yeah, remember it was Ben Sutton texting Randy Woodson being like, hey, man, we got to be bold here. We got to add SMU and Cal and Stanford. Yeah. SMU comes into the league, runs roughshod until they have to go to Winston-Salem. So I'm at a loss for what the fuck is happening in the ACC. SMU comes in. They go down to Death Valley. No big deal. Run Clemson out of the gym. They go to Grove Stadium and lose on a 50-yard walk-off field goal.
Yeah.
Like, huh? I got nothing. But NC State, they have wins over Virginia, wins over Wake Forest, wins over a good ECU team. Since then, the wheels have fallen off. And they were up on Duke in the first half of that game in Durham. The non-penalty penalty, that the non-offsides has really zapped something from CJ Bailey's powers, but it's also just kind of sucked the entire energy out of the NC State program. And after the way that the fans had reacted to those wins, I'm not that surprised that we're in the position that we're in now.
You know, it's funny. You're talking about all these instances in which wild stuff is happening. It's very college football, right? Like Virginia's very college football.
Yes.
But as you're describing, SMU and the way, that's all very, very college football. I thought this one call was amusing as well from NC State fans. This is how down they are.
Put us in the Coastal Division, we said. We'll go to the conference championship, we said.
Yeah. And all the homages to the Coastal that we're seeing, I think even NC State fans know, yeah, man, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. All right, one more sports phone call about NC State, which I think sets up something that I want to give you credit. You were probably 2 weeks early on. You were probably 2 weeks early on it, but I think we're here. This is from an 828.
He has to make an announcement before the next game, right? Like, paper bags and booze, like, are coming. Like, he has to announce it. If he doesn't announce it, Boo has to fire him, right? Maybe not even let him on the fucking plane. This is insane. Defensive-minded 13th-year head coach, 53 goddamn points. That's it. I don't have more time to dedicate to this. It's just such an abject disaster.
All right, so we've set up the fact that NC State under Dave Doeren seems to they have no more juice. It's a wrap. So now the question is, how do you go forward?
Yeah, the issue is you owe him $12 million, right? And if you're Trace Armstrong, who is Dave Doeren's agent, you're not leaving NC State without those $12 million, right? You can't, even if Dave's like, nah, man, I want to retire. You're like, listen, Dave, buddy, I love you, mean it, but we got one more check to cash, okay? And that's not to diminish what I really think has been Dave Doeren's mindset this whole year. I really thought this was it for him. I know he tried to get out last year, or at least had thoughts. And I got to tell you something. Once you think it's over, it's over.
Sure.
Okay. So that axiom remains undefeated. So here's what I would propose if I was NC State. If I was Boo Corrigan, I would sit down with Trace Armstrong. I would work out a settlement. I would work out a buyout. Hey, we owe you 12, but we know you want to be done anyway. So what if we paid you 6? He comes back with, well, make it 8. You're on your way. Save yourself whatever you can save. If you can save $3 million, awesome. If you can't, you can't. That's life. But they need to come to an arrangement that says, this is what we're doing. Dave wanted it to be over. It is over. Let's show him respect over the last 4 games of the season. Please come to the Georgia Tech game. Come to the Florida State game, and yes, come to that Carolina game on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, but leave all of the other stuff, leave all the toxicness and the anger and everything else, leave that at home, because it doesn't matter if you win or lose the games. Just have a little bit of dignity and self-respect here as you close this thing out after 13 years.
I think it's the only way to really squeeze anything that's left in the season, right?
I think so too, because if you just sit here and try to week this thing, as I said, when he can't get their attention after an open date the way that he traditionally has been able to, that to me is a sign that the messaging is not getting to the players. And then you add in the fact that there's only so much magic dust you can sprinkle on a team that doesn't have playmakers on defense anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting ready to play Georgia Tech. You gave up a shit ton of rushing yards to Virginia Tech. What do you think Georgia Tech's going to do?
Run it down your throat.
You got to go down to Miami. You better hope CJ Bailey turns into whatever version of trying out for Miami to be Miami's quarterback next year turns out to be. You get Florida State here. That's actually a winnable game. Carolina here, both winnable games.
Yeah.
So you can actually get something out of this season.
See, that's my question.
Even if it's just a 6-6 record, even if it is just a feel-good walk-off and a way to end Dave Doeren's tenure here. That's what you can have if you can come to some sort of agreement with Dave and say, hey, we both know we're moving on. We both know it's going to be different next year.
Yeah.
Let's get together. Let's show you the respect that you've earned in your first 12 years, and let's try to make something of these last 4 games.
That is to put a bow on this. That is my central question for NC State going forward. If coming out of the bye week, as you have stated, and I think a lot of NC State fans understand, if coming out of the bye week isn't going to be the thing that you typically see out of a Dave Doeren season, well, then we kind of understand where it's all going. So how do you shift the mindset? How do you squeeze whatever's left out of this season? And the only way that's left is that you make some sort of announcement. As you said, going week to week, that worked last week. You're coming out of the bye. You've never lost to Pitt. All right, let's see. Here's a Dave Doeren special coming up. Oh, you guys were done with me? All right, fine. Guess what? The Red Solo Cup's coming out because I'm about to get to a bowl game in the most ridiculous fashion possible, right? We're gonna. You talk about the Georgia Tech game, right? The Amato special. Like, I don't see that happening now.
The reckoning,
right? I don't see that happening now. It was fun to joke about last week. I don't see that happening now. So how do you get it to that point? Honestly, I think this is the only way to do it, is you just let everybody know what the deal is, rather than it's because I don't even think it's going to be toxic. If you go week to week, I think people are just checked out. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be paper bags. I don't think it's going to be any of that stuff. Well, it's going to look like what
you're saying. The end of the Kevin Keats. You're saying the second half of those basketball games last year, the ACC schedule where they had 4,000 people in the building.
That's what I see.
I don't know, because I think,
or they tailgate and they don't go into the building.
That now, I could see the second half of games looking very sparse.
Yeah.
But Joe, they almost doubled the season ticket price this year in football. They sneakily added an athlete tax to their season tickets this year.
Yeah.
As I'm keenly aware of.
Yeah.
And as is everyone who paid for season tickets this year.
Yeah.
So to your point, you're going to, especially for a 7:30 kick on Saturday. You're sure as shit going to be out there. Let me tell you that. Now, are you going to be there in the second half?
Probably not. Probably not. All our ACC discussions brought to you by Bloomin' Blinds. Check them out online at bloominblinds.com. Hey, look, if they win on Saturday against Georgia Tech, it might be a special after dark. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe
8-0 Georgia Tech. The symmetry.
That would be hilarious, right?
23 years later.
We have to go live after that game just to as an homage to Chuck Amato. Like, it's happened.
Let's get Chan Gailey. We can find Chan Gailey.
I'm sure we could find him. We're supposed to talk to Roddy Jones again tomorrow. Bring him back on and talk about some Georgia Tech stuff. Anyway, we'll see how the rest of it goes. But ACC, all of our college football discussions brought to you by our friends at Bloomin' Blinds. Check them out online at bloominblinds.com. 10 or more window treatments, you're going to get 10% off. And they'll even do simple things like fix your blinds as well. Sometimes blind repair is just a straight up thing you need to do, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money, and Bloomin' Blinds can do it. So again, check them out online at bloominblinds.com. All right, let's go back to the sports phone and transition over to UNC.
I think Bill Belichick will probably get his first ACC win and Power 4 win in Carter Finley. And I'm going to be in-house to watch it unfold. And boy, is that going to be interesting. Wow.
That is the level that NC State fan has gotten down to. But let's go to a 919, which I think kind of sets up what we saw on Saturday at Keenan, which I know it filled in eventually, but as I predicted, noon kickoff against Virginia, you've been embarrassed a few times. Nobody really has any faith in you. The crowd looked like what I thought it would look like. Yet another thing that so many people were hoping Bill Belichick would correct in Chapel Hill has not been corrected. People have seen this movie before. They don't really feel like spending their time doing it again. I know that it filled out eventually, but if you're signifying that this is real football, that the mindset has changed, going back to the TCU game where it actually felt like a big-time atmosphere, Saturday doesn't happen, even for a noon kickoff. But as far as the game,
I was actually more embarrassed for Virginia fans than I was Carolina fans.
That's fair.
Particularly the Virginia sideline. Like we've seen that visitor side of the building be filled by State, Virginia Tech, everybody else. I mean, I'm embarrassed for I was embarrassed for Virginia watching the early highlights of watching that game early.
Maybe Virginia fans know they're fraudulent. You know, maybe that's the case. I have no idea. The last 4 games for Virginia have been decided by a total of 14 points. 3 of them have been overtime wins. And as you highlighted last week, one of them was in like the dumbest ways possible against Washington State, right?
A fair catch by the wrong person. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you said it. Yeah, they have a horseshoe up their ass. I call it an incredible homage to the Coastal Division. We saw that with a 10-10 regulation tie in Chapel Hill. It wasn't quite 7-5.
Right.
That we saw how many years ago?
The overturned field goal? I'll live a long time. I promise you. I'll never see that again. For those who don't know, there was a kick in that game that Virginia made that they had to challenge because that wasn't the 7-5, it was a different game, but Al Groh had to challenge the field goal call because it was a made kick, incorrectly ruled on the field as a miss. Unbelievable.
I forgot about that.
And people were like, is that even something you could challenge? It was like, apparently
it is.
When they get it that wrong,
apparently it is. I had forgotten about the overturned field goal. I totally forgot about that when I was fixated on the 7-5 as there were 10-10 going into regulation. And Virginia comes out of there with a 17-16 win. Mac Brown. Mac Brown's on the brain because we saw this before. We've seen this before. And I bring this up to illustrate a lot of the issues that I've got with North Carolina. Like, I have two separate thoughts about UNC right now. Let's focus on the coaching staff first and foremost. And they decided to go for 2, which I thought was the right decision.
Okay. First overtime, they tied up 17. Well, first overtime, Virginia scores on a Bill Belichick play. Des Kitching busts out the direct snap to the running back. And I'm sitting here going, really?
Did you watch how they masked it too?
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty impressive.
I was like, really? You're going to pull a Belichick on Belichick? Salute.
That was pretty impressive.
And then Carolina, though, right back at him, scores a touchdown and says, right away, going for 2. Let's try to win this football
Which I
think
is the right call, given how the game had been going. They had 3 turnovers already in this game. There's been some stupid shit that's happened. Hey, man, let's not keep the game going.
Yeah, I had no problem with the decision.
Yes.
None.
Yes.
But the call wasn't great.
The call was the call. I know there's some debate, extend, just go for the pylon. Maybe we're talking about something completely different.
No, you can't, because of the last 2 weeks they've had goal line plays.
So
he teaches you not to reach.
Exactly. So there's this don't reach because of what's happened. Of course, I'm thinking but the pylon's literally right there. Like I get there's all sorts of baggage that's involved with how that all unfolded. Okay. But what bothered me more so than anything else, this is a perfect opportunity for Bill Belichick to explain why it was, for football reasons, that you wanted to win it there. And instead, he gives Shelby Swanson, who asked the question, he was like, we're trying to win the game. And we just didn't do it. No, give me a reason why. And I'm going back to Mac Brown. Was it year 1, Mac Brown?
Yep.
Clemson's in town. And mind you, this is when Clemson was running hot.
Number 2 Clemson.
Okay.
Yep.
And they took that game to the end. It wasn't overtime, but it took the game to the end. And Mac decided to go for 2.
Yeah.
Which I thought was the right call at the time.
Ran the option with Sam Howell. I don't hate an option on a 2-point play.
And Mac, say what you want about the play call, but the mindset was there.
Yeah.
And Mac explained the mindset. He understood, man, we've got them right here. We know they're better than us, talent-wise, up and down, things like that. If we're going to win it right here. It didn't happen. It happened. But I explained, at least Mac's giving you the mindset. And this is what bothers me about Bill Belichick. If it's about football and not nonsense, none of the nonsense, well, here's a perfect opportunity to educate us. Hey, man, this is why I wanted to do this. Instead, we got classic Bill Belichick, we're on to Cincinnati, New England stuff. And this is the kind of stuff that simply does not work in college. It does not work in college. Not only does it not work in college, but it also doesn't work when you haven't beaten a Power 4 team yet. You're still looking, as you like to say, pop one against an ACC squad or a Power 4 team. Your only 2 wins are against completely overmatched squads. Charlotte, which was mistake-filled up there. And then, of course, the Richmond game, which, come on, cool. What are we talking about? Cool. So here's an opportunity for you to at least explain he doesn't do it. And it's just more of the reason why I can't imagine that it's fun at all to be playing football in Chapel Hill right now, which is why I give the players a hell of a lot of credit. Because let's go back to the Clemson loss in the week that was, where everything was just pouring out into the streets, all the rumors, all the parents being mad, reports that coaches were looking for other jobs, buyout discussions, and the players could easily just check out. The players have not. The players have tried to make something out of this season. Now, I have an overall theory for this, in that perhaps the portal era, the NIL era, you understand that you could be playing for another job, so to speak, much like in the NFL, you never see teams that actually want to tank. Owners might want to tank. Coaches maybe want to tank, but players never want to tank because they're playing for their next contract. They're playing for their next spot. Well, you could say the same thing about college players too. And I think that's why you've seen them try. There's effort. They're not completely checked out. They're trying to get up off the mat and try. And defensively, I thought they were actually pretty good in this game.
Yeah, they've improved the last 2 weeks defensively.
Yeah.
Cal, they lost by 3 to Cal, gave up 21 points, only gave up 10 points in regulation, lose by a point. Melkar Abujade with 3 sacks in this game. He looked good. He actually looked good. Their defensive lineman. They had 6 sacks as a team in this game. Virginia had only given up 5 sacks in the first 7 games of the season. So that's progress. Here's the thing that bothers me. And I said before the season started, I thought Carolina would be better on defense. Statistically, they have been better on defense than they were under Mac the last few years, but obviously that's a very Pyrrhic victory for Bill Belichick. Here's what really bothered me about this game. And I said this before the season started. I don't think Carolina will lose because of Bill Belichick. I think he'll coach them and put them in positions where they won't make mistakes. I said this to Bill O'Brien and Charlotte. How many times have you heard Bill Belichick say, let the other team lose? You don't have to win. Let the other team lose. 3 minutes, 28 seconds left in this game. It's 10-10.
Yeah.
You had the ball in Virginia territory. 3rd and 4. 10-10. 3:28 left in this football game. Maybe you get a first down. Maybe you kick a field goal. Maybe you end up winning by 3. Who knows? Virginia was in the fucking tank.
Yes.
Okay? The tank.
Carolina was trying to give that game to them with the turnovers and some of the wacky stuff, and Virginia simply could not put them away.
Yet their defense, Carolina's defense, kept them in this football game. Okay? 3rd and 4, false start. Cannot. Bill Belichick would have cut somebody and left them on the tarmac. Patriot Bill Belichick would have hung somebody for that. You can't have a penalty, a procedural penalty. 3rd and 4. The next series, Virginia didn't score, but their drive was extended by, of all things, the Tom Brady penalty, diving at the quarterback's legs. These are all things that you can control. So all of the people who were fired up and getting at me about Gio Lopez, it's the quarterback's fault, it's Freddie Kitchen's fault, it's not Bill's fault.
No.
Well, those type of penalties are drilled into your players' heads the way that he did for 2 decades in the NFL. And that's why watching them is so jarring. Also, Gio Lopez, I thought it threw a great pass to Madrid Tucker on Carolina's last possession of regulation that Tucker had in his hands. It pops out. It's intercepted. Those are the kind of plays that go against you when you're running cold. And I thought that was emblematic of both Carolina's season and Virginia's season. You lose by a point. It's the little things, the procedural penalty here, the roughing the passer there. These are all things that they can control. Fumbling on the their opening possession on the goal line.
That's just bad luck.
Can't control it. Shitty luck. Second week in a row, you got shitty goal line luck.
It's turnover luck.
Even the play, I didn't love the 2-point play, but the kid was this.
I know he's that close.
Literally this close.
Yeah.
To winning the football game for Carolina. These are things, to your point, the players have stuck with it. They've stuck to it. I think defensively, they've shown great improvement. I suspect they beat Syracuse this week. They could probably beat Stanford the next week as well to get to 4 wins. Then here you go. Maybe
here. if you're prepared. And that's the thing.
They're showing enough progress defensively that I think they can beat teams who can't get it done offensively. That would cover Syracuse and Stanford. The real question, though, is what do you do against Wake, Duke, and State in that last 3 games? Can you win any of them?
I don't know.
If you win one, it's probably your Super Bowl.
Yes, I would say more so. Is Duke going to be the architects of their own demise again in a game against Carolina, right? But the thing is, I think Carolina, it gets back to preparation, a sign of good coaching.
Yeah.
And I just don't think they're well coached right now because of all these little things. I mean, for all the reasons people wanted to get Mac Brown the hell out of there, we're seeing it just as much with Bill Belichick, which gets back to the thing we talked about all offseason that people talk, oh, no, this team's not going to beat itself. No, it beats itself, man. And I think that's coaching, and I think that's Bill Belichick and the overall impression that I've gotten from the coaching staff the entire time of them being checked out. And for all the folks out there who say, well, they just got there, they have to implement their culture. Well, here's the thing about their culture, okay?
Wake Forest 5-2.
Let's strip away all The easy part is to do what you just did. Point to all these other schools that have seen bounces from new coaches, from relatively nothing. Hell, look at UCLA. Look at Virginia Tech bouncing back. And yes, Jeff Dickert at Wake Forest is a prime example of let's strip the Kurt Signetti at Indiana example out of the equation. Let's just look more like let's look back home, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look at Wake Forest. Why y'all can't do that, right? It's because the coaching staff, straight up, they're not invested. They're not invested. And you're telling me that you're putting faith in Mike Lombardi to construct a roster and deal with other people in such a way that you believe they're going to get better roster-wise? No, I don't buy that. I listened to the Pablo Torre episode on Friday on my drive up to Delaware for Bands of America. And before y'all roll your eyes about Pablo Torre, and trust me, there have been moments where I roll my eyes about Pablo Torre because there are some episodes that could have been an email, so to speak. They didn't need to be an hour and 10 minutes. Listen to the episode because it's not really about Pablo. It's about the reporter for The Athletic that is the source of the entire story, Dave Fleming, who's got a kid at UNC. And it's a complete deconstruction of the legend of Mike Lombardi and how he has just wormed his way into situations by telling fishtails. And he happens to have a relationship with Bill Belichick that has put him in these positions. He's not good at his job, period. And there's countless examples to show you that he's not good at his job or he's been lying about his job. So you're telling me I'm supposed to have faith in UNC's future with Mike Lombardi making decisions?
And all that money?
No, absolutely not. One more sports phone call.
Hey, guys. I'm sitting here thinking about the dumpster fire of Carolina football, and it occurred to me the team is like 2 plays away from being 2-1 in the ACC, except for they can't do the things that I think we all expected would be the one thing that they might be able to do well under a Belichick coach team, and that's the little things and not beat yourself. And there's some irony that as bad as the roster is, as bad as the quarterback is, as bad as all of the problems are with personnel and the off-the-field stuff, that if Belichick did the things that we actually kind of thought he actually was good at as a coach and do the little things, this team might have 2 wins in the ACC. I don't know. I don't have a thesis here, but thought it was interesting.
I think most people are seeing what's the problem at UNC. You want to call a sports phone? You know the number. You know the jingle. And if you're listening to this at 1x speed, you're probably wondering, why is it sounding so slow? You sickos out there, man. Absolute sickos.
Housekeeping.
I wonder what housekeeping sounds like at 1.5x. We should ask Beard.
Fast forward.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping brought to you
Housekeeping.
by Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it green, clean with Enovana.
It's funny. I'm imagining that if you listen to these things at 1x, all the jingles at 1x, they sound like chopped and screwed versions. Everybody's on that scissor. Hey, go check out the Secret Shop, the Secret Stash. Go to the OG.shop. Again, that's the OG.shop. You can find ridiculous hats like this.
Oh!
We got the fat hog on a hat. I believe also we have it on a shirt too.
Morgan. Is that the OG on the back?
No, there's nothing on the back.
Okay.
I think the OG version has it on the back. I gotta dropping hats back here. Because the hat wall is becoming a problem. I'm going to actually have to nail the hat wall rather than the supposed 15-pound double-sided tape.
Uh-oh.
These are not 15 pounds.
No.
And yet they cannot stay. It's not working. But yeah, we got all sorts of crazy stuff at the Secret Stash, including the cool OG dad hat. So all you need to do is go to the OG.shop. Again, that's the OG.shop. Big thanks to our friends at Roback. You can check them out online at roback.com. Nothing secret about our promo code OG20. Save 20% off your next order. I got the Ready crew neck. This is a little bit of a heavier material than what we typically see with the hoodies.
Okay.
Now it comes in a crew neck version. It comes in a hoodie version, pullover hoodie version as well. This is super, super comfortable. This might be my new go-to.
Heavier.
It's a heavier one.
Okay.
It's a heavier material, but it's also incredibly soft.
Huh.
It's good stuff.
Okay.
When I say heavier, it's a little warmer than the other hoodie. How about that? Either way.
I'm unfamiliar with this game. Although, did you see Ben outdid himself with the Brickyard design?
No, I haven't seen this one yet. I saw some like baseball ones in my email. What else did we get? I haven't seen the other ones yet.
So Ben went to NC State, and that's how we ended up with Ben and Roback as a corporate champion. So Ben's one of the top designers for Roback, and they have NC State stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he came out with a new zip. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready
this
for it.
puppy.
Let me see it. What we got?
It requires me finding it.
vamping. Tell you what.
No.
I got it because I can come back to it.
No.
We can come back to it.
Here it is.
Okay.
This is for those who went to NC State. You'll note that this is the Brickyard. That is the design of bricks at the Brickyard.
Oh, that's
it is
ridiculous.
A quarter zip that has the design on it.
You know the best part about this quarter zip?
There we go.
Best part about it, you're not going to trip in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing about that design's popping out a little funny.
Look at that, man.
That's good. That is a good look.
So good. So yeah, check them out. Rollback.com. Use that promo code OG20.
And if you've already used it, maybe use another email to get that one. I'm just saying. Or, you're like, man, I keep buying all this Rollback stuff, guys.
I gotta save some money.
I got to save money. How do I do that?
Or a breaking tee. This is a breaking tee selection.
You got the breaking tee.
Yeah.
I was wondering why.
Well,
shout out to Anna. Speaking of hoodies and breaking tea, Anna, who we met at the Balls versus Cancer.
Yeah,
she went to the Bills Panthers game. We're going to talk about that game here in a little bit.
Okay,
and she shared her story with us. It's an incredible story. So I was like, "Send me your address. I'm going to send you a hoodie." So I sent her the Positive Vibes Only.
Okay,
and she went incognito mode for the Bills Panthers because she's been a Bills fan for the last 15 years. But she wore that hoodie because when you wear that hoodie, you can wear it anywhere. You just hope both teams have fun.
That's right.
So yeah, Breaking Tea's got some of that goody stuff too. But you're buying all these shirts. You're buying the OG merch. You're going to the Secret Stash. You're going to Rollback. You're going to Breaking Tea, breakingtea.com/OG. Like, guys, I need to save money. Easy. Matt Davis. Or you can talk to Matt Davis about financial planning too. Like, all right, so 2026, I want to be able to buy X amount from the guys on the podcast. What do I need to do to save money in order to make it so I can buy some stuff? Matt can answer those questions, right? He can answer those questions. More importantly, he can save you money on home and auto as well. Just start the conversation today. 919-779-8277, insuregarner.com. Big thanks to Longleaf Swine. You can get OG Light at Longleaf Swine. Just like I got the OG Light hat. You can get an OG Light hat at the Secret Stash. Okay. The OG.shop. Again, that's the OG.shop. That is easily one of the more popular hats that we have. But you can buy cans OG Light there. Go to longleafswine.com. You can also get OG Light at select Butcher's Market locations. Check them out, thebutchersmarkets.com. We got cooler weather. The rain's going to clear out by the end of the week. It's supposed to be nice this weekend. Perfect time to grill. So get everything that you need at the Butcher's Market. Check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. Again, that's thebutchersmarkets.com. All right, let's get to the Carolina Panthers, where I have two takeaways, immediate takeaways from the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Takeaway number one, Andy Dalton's a real one, an absolute real one.
In what way?
I think Bomani had a bit he used to call the Homeboy Hall of Fame back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Andy Dalton's in the Homeboy Hall of Fame. He's like, look, Bryce, I know there's been some questions about you. Is he the guy? Is he not the guy? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out there against the Bills, and I'm going to shit the bed. And I'm going to get everybody to be like,
You know who's not that bad.
You know who's not that bad?
On second thought.
Bryce Young's actually not that bad. Let's go to the sports phone.
Hey, guys, it's Paul. Tell me something good. Bryce Young, you ain't got to worry about not being the starting quarterback. Andy Dalton. Motherfucker, dude. He single-handedly lost that game. I know the defense we gave up 40 points, but like the fumble, the interception is bad. Andy Dalton, thank you for your service. Go ahead and go into that good night.
Yeah, the people who are still lingering about the Andy Dalton stuff from last year, yeah, that's out the window. Do I think they win this game with Bryce Young at quarterback? No, I don't, which gets me to point number 2. Here's the reason why the Carolina Panthers lost that game. Dave Canales, for some unknown reason, is not playing the hot hand. Dave Canales, head coach of the Carolina Panthers, for some reason has decided, I'm going to overthink the room. Yeah, I know Rico Dowdle's been on a heater. I know he's been the guy who has done what I've wanted to do, run the damn ball, which then sets everything up, right? What did he do? He decides to do the alternating series, and then they got themselves in such a hole that I think Rico Dowdle saw 1 touch in the second half. If I remember my stats correctly. Yeah, dude, that's coaching malpractice. What did we say when the Panthers were winning some games and piecing these things together, winning 3 in a row and getting over 500? Play the hot hand. We're not talking about a Rico Dowdle contract. We're just talking about the right now. And right now, you got to show that you got something. And Rico Dowdle was part of that. Instead, they go the alternating series and they get nothing out of this stuff. I know they gave Chuba Hubbard the contract. He's got his money. It's okay. It's all good. He's coming off an injury. Keep playing Rico Dowdle until he can't do it anymore. Then maybe go back to Chuba Hubbard. Maybe I'm oversimplifying here, but when you don't run the damn ball and Andy Dalton's doing this and you're giving Buffalo easy field position, you then put yourselves in such a bad spot that there's just no coming back from it. And I'm not necessarily putting this on the defense. Defense kept getting put in a bad spot. And by the way, since about speaking of the hot hand, Cook was the hot hand. Cook did to you what Rico Dowdle had been doing to other teams. See, I don't think I'm too off base with this. I hope I'm not oversimplifying this, but come on, man.
Yeah, that implies though that they were going to be competitive with Buffalo. Like the Panthers' defensive problems are still the Panthers' defensive problems.
Agree, but the Buffalo Bills, to your point, the Buffalo Bills have not looked competitive against teams that they should beat. You see what I'm getting at?
Right.
And I'm not saying that the Panthers were going to win this game.
Right.
But the Panthers could have looked a hell of a lot more competitive.
They could have. This is a bad spot, though. Obviously, Buffalo coming off of 2 losses and an open date.
Yeah.
This was dead red for the Panthers. Next week, I got bad news for you, is going to be dead red for the Panthers. But, hey, well, it's almost November 9th. The Saints will be here. The March for 7 will continue. That's a must win. The March 9th visit from the Saints is, March. November 9th visit from the Saints is a must win.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get another game against the Saints. And then I think the week 18 game against Tampa will have nobody playing in. So those are your best chances to get to 7. There's still hope.
Yeah.
To get to that respectable 7-10 record.
No, I agree with you. A lot of this is predicated on the fact that Bryce Young comes back and he's 100%. So we'll see how that goes. This also gets back to one of the lingering issues around Dave Canales, the play caller. This is something that has not gone away even with the wins, because we saw this in the win over the Jets, that people were wondering, hey man, Rico Dowdle's been that dude. Why are we overthinking this with Chuba Hubbard, right? So that's a lingering question going forward. And what I don't want to do, I don't want to sound like somebody, and I keep repeating myself here, but I have to for a reason. I don't want to sound like somebody who was like, man, I predicted this upset special. The Panthers they're gonna beat the. No, I did not think they were going to beat the Bills. Okay. But I thought they'd look more competitive in this game. In a weekend that really was a weekend of blowouts, by the way. I think there was only one competitive game, and that was the Jets and the Bengals, which, congratulations to the Jets. They're finally on the board. Hey, good for Aaron Glenn. So this was a weekend of blowouts, so it tracked with just about everything else. However, I don't think it had to be this way. I get that Andy Dalton's going to be the focal point of this, and the defense, I agree with you, this was like the worst traits coming out. I don't think they were set up for success because of the Andy Dalton mistakes in this game, but I also think Dave Canales did not help in this matter because of the way he handled the running back rotation, which, come on, man, just absolutely overthinking it. Let's go back to the sports phone to a 919.
Watching this Panthers game. I'm sorry, Chuba Hubbard, but why the fuck are we not letting Rico Dowdle play running back every single possession? We have Barry Sanders reincarnated, and we're giving the ball to Chuba Hubbard still. Why? Why? First drive of the game, 20-yard rush, 24-yard rush, multiple double-digit rushing yards, and we put Hubbard, alternating the running backs is not going to work, guys. It's not going to work. Let Dowdle be running back one. Let Chuba come in whenever Dowdle needs to come out and get some air oxygen. Oh, my God. I'm tired of watching
this. Let's go to a 704.
Hey, guys. It's Paul.
No, wait, I put that one. This is that one.
Hello, OG. Courtesy driver, 5:11 p.m., Sunday afternoon. The Panthers. Yakety sacks. Just play yakety sacks. Thanks to Andy Dalton, the QB bum of the week. The defense gave up big plays, but the defense gets pressured and put in bad situations when the quarterback turns the ball over. Whatever happens at the end of this season with Canales and Bryce Young, who's staying, who's going, somebody's got to go, and it's Andy Dalton, because he absolutely fucking sucks. Thank you as always. Have a good rest of the weekend. Looking forward to next week's shows.
Courtesy of getting after it. Curse or don't.
I always appreciate how Curtis timestamps all of his calls. I appreciate that. All right, one more from the sports phone.
Dave Canales. I don't care. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. We're approaching the 2-minute warning of the first half. I do not care if you end up winning the game for the Panthers or not. Based on the fact that you're doing this harebrained rotation between Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle, if you keep this up for the rest of the game, you deserve to be fired regardless of how the Panthers do the rest of the season, because this is so stupid. Why are you doing this? It's stupid. You see what the Bills are doing on their side? They've got their guy running the ball play after play after play. He's got over 150 yards in the first half. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you so stupid?
It's a real simple question. Who's playing better? Right? Who's playing better? Who has been playing better? Who's coming off a calf injury and doesn't look 100%? I don't think I'm taking crazy pills here. It's a real simple question. Who's been playing better? The answer is Rico Dowdle. So why, given all the context I just laid out, would you keep feeding Chuba when Rico's been the dude who has arguably been, I can't talk. I'm so fired up about this, I can't even say arguably. He's been their better player. He's been, arguably, their MVP so far this season. And instead, Canales gets asked the question about the alternating backs, and he says, if he has any second thoughts, quote, nope. Like the plan. Just looking for execution. And we have to be able to be balanced, with passing in those situations. And turnovers really got us out of our rhythm and put us in a different mode. I understand what he's getting at, because Andy Dalton did not do them any favors. He only did Bryce Young a favor in the way that he played. However, you create your own rhythm, man, and you run the damn ball, and you do it with your hot guy. So I'm really confused as to what Dave Canales was thinking in this game. Elsewhere in the NFL, if you think the Panthers have had a dumb season, may I present to you the Atlanta Falcons? The Atlanta Falcons are having the dumbest season to date, getting embarrassed by the Miami Dolphins, who I thought had checked out on the year. I didn't think the Dolphins were going to win another one. But Atlanta's now 3-4. They've got wins over the Vikings, who have fallen down to earth, and there's some debate about what's going on with J.J. McCarthy and just how hurt is he. Are we dealing with a phantom benching with J.J. McCarthy in Minneapolis, right? They beat the Bills, who the Panthers just got run over by. And they beat the Commanders. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And yet, on their season, they got blanked by the Panthers, 30-0. And then they had this no-show with Kirk Cousins against the Miami Dolphins.
34-10. Yeah, it was...
Is Aaron Rodgers going to go into his darkness cave after last night? Is it just bad enough that they got beat by the Packers, or is it made worse by the fact that Jordan Love looked like the Jordan Love we're all promised in prime time?
We finally got a Jordan Love game. We finally got his moment.
Yeah.
I got some serious questions about their playmaking abilities besides Kraft, but for one night, Love was the answer at quarterback. I mean, Pittsburgh's defense is pretty good, but I just feel like it was all dialed up for Green Bay.
And finally, the Indianapolis Colts.
I mean, how are they not the best team in the NFL? Who's been better? They don't even play close games. Like, that's the thing. They've had one close game against Denver. The rest of it has just been dominance, honestly.
So I was not aware that this was a thing. I'll be honest. I'll be straight up with you. I mean, I get that the Colts are winning. I'm not paying rapt attention to the Colts, but I guess Irsay's daughter has been on the sideline.
Okay, she's the new owner.
R.I.P. Jim Irsay.
Sure.
Irsay's daughter has taken over, and she's been most known for some fire fits and the fact that she's on the sideline, literally on the sideline with a headset.
Yes.
And you sent this to me. This is a clip of her explaining what exactly she's trying to accomplish. And I thought it was a very, very good answer.
I need to learn more about this. I need to be able to say, is this person full of BS? Do they even know what they're talking about? And I think one of the things that being on the headset has really helped me learn is, to the question earlier, it's such a complex organism, a football team and how it operates. And on game day, and you could say, oh, that person ran that route wrong. When you learn to find, someone tagged the wrong wide receiver, and it wasn't really the player's fault. It was the person that called it. So, and it's never, I think that's been a very valuable, because it also helps us be able to know, where do we need to make tweaks? What resources do we need? What do we need to fix? So much of it comes down to just how we operate and how things work. And the headsets are really, I wish I would suggest it for anyone else that has to pay coaches and GMs millions and millions of dollars. It helps you make a less expensive mistake potentially.
Don't give David Tepper any ideas, Carly, please.
I was gonna say this is working because they're 7-1.
Right.
Like, if they were 1-7, oh my God.
Dude, poor woman. Can you imagine? Well, what I think is even funnier, to your point about how this works when it's 7-1, here's Cam Newton. There's another clip that you sent me. Now, Cam famously got in some hot water because he responded to a football question by Jordan Rodriguez when she was covering the Carolina Panthers for the Charlotte Observer. I've lost track where Jordan is now. I want to say she's at the Athletic still. She's having a wonderful career. And Cam's whole point, his whole thing was like, that's funny.
Oh, she asked about a route tree.
It was a route tree.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny coming from a woman, essentially, getting asked about a route tree. And it's like,
not his finest moment.
Not his finest moment. Well, here's Cam on Carly Irsay Gordon being on the sideline.
Irsay Gordon is fresh as a peppermint, man. She done went on the sideline with looked like to be a Mashika hat, man. And then she came on the sideline this past weekend. Dior. She a big stepper now. And she not only is stepping, she is making her presence felt, and it's leading to wins. We ain't never seen a team have this type of run, as you said, in the last 25 years. Yeah, brother. But she's doing something right, and it's extremely commendable, which raises more eyebrows and really the thought process in here to say, do we need more women in sports? Because what they provide is something that most men would overlook. Now, some would say women are more organized, detail-oriented, more sharp, Not a lot of times does head coaches want the involvement of upper management. Why? Because they may feel that they're micromanaging them. But at the same time, if I'm paying you, you don't get to tell me how I should run my team. Now, rest in peace to Jim Irsay. These Indianapolis Colts have been looking damn good.
Again, if they're 1-7 and not 7-1,
hey,
we know how
like
this plays
said,
out.
If it's my team, my money,
Oh,
you're not going to tell me what to do with my money.
I agree with that sentiment. And just like I would agree with that sentiment with, say, David Tepper. It's his team. It's his money. If he wants to, if we've seen these reports.
The press conferences and the fake punts.
Well, I mean, hell, like, what was it the Joe Person reporting at The Athletic, where I essentially made fun of the fact that I'm like, is David Tepper showing the coaching staff underdog fantasy tweets from Josh? I'm pretty sure he is. And he's like, well, wait, what about this? And talking about footwork, right? Again, I like her positioning of it. Okay. She wants to know what's going on. She wants to know. Whereas some owners, like
there's some big Wendell Murphy energy to her.
Oh, because he got the headset. He got his own headset.
He likes to listen.
Yeah. He just wants to know how he's spending his money.
It's my money.
That's all. Which I respect that. I respect that. But I think when we see the instances of, like, say, Jerry Jones, who suddenly they want a pass rusher.
Yeah. Hey, they have extra draft picks. You know what they really need to do is trade for a pass rusher. You mean like Micah Parsons?
Huh. You know, I'm starting to think, Joe, that men are too emotional to own football teams.
Could never.
I think they're just too emotional. Yeah, I think David Tepper and Jerry Jones should spawn more, for being honest. It's an ugly look, guys. Ugly look. Big thanks to Happy and Hail. Check them out. Download the app. Use our promo code OG25. You download the app. Use the promo code 25% off. One-time order. And may I suggest you get the banana bread smoothie.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hail.
Have you done it yet? Have you gotten the banana bread smoothie yet?
Not yet.
You should do it this week. I think it's going to make you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
You know how, like, what is on Friday, you talked about how coffee hits you?
Yeah. Banana bread smoothie.
I believe when the nutmeg hits. And, you know, I'm not going to say anymore.
Canes are in town tomorrow night. I got a thing tomorrow. Ugh. Okay. I was going to say, I'll go see Vegas tomorrow.
Wait, the Canes are allowed to play home games?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I know they're not allowed to score power play goals.
That's not allowed.
That is
not allowed to heavily line up either.
Which, speaking of the Canes, we'll get to this in the lightning round. I have a new tier. I me on the tiers of Extremely Online Canes fan. I forgot about this tier, and it presented itself during this road trip at the end. It has nothing to do with the Miko Ranton and Schadenfreude. In the meantime, go to Happy and Hail, download that app, and save 25% when you use that promo code OG25. Big thanks to Hometown Realty, myhtr.com. They're in and out of the community. I was at the fair. You saw their signage. You're going to see their stuff like parades and all that kind of stuff. They're out there in the G. They're going to help you find a home. You have specific needs, they can help you. You're trying to sell a house and maximize the value, they can help you. Don't mess with these all cash offers. You're leaving money on the table, okay?
Please.
So go to myhtr.com. Let's say you sold your house, you're buying a house, you got to take that thing to close. Whitaker and Hamer can help you out with that. I'm glad I did not need to reach out to Whitaker and Hamer because on my drive back from Delaware, all up and down 95, the cops were out. A lot of speed traps this weekend. Didn't have to worry about that, though. But if you find yourself in that situation, give them a call. Hit them up online, wh.lawyer. Again, that's wh.lawyer. Also, big thanks to Miller Lending. Check them out online at millerlending.com/theog. And when you take that thing to close, you're going to get a butcher's market thing. Is it like a basket?
Gift basket.
It's a whole on gift basket.
Correct.
Meats in a basket?
Well, we're gonna be safe, but
of course.
Yes.
Okay.
They have wines and
Some
beverages
seasoning and all that kind of stuff.
Pastas.
Sounds good.
Stuff. Yeah.
Sounds good. So you don't pay closing costs with Miller Lending. Save money every single time you refinance for any number of reasons that you have to refinance. Typically, people will refinance about every 4 years for any number of reasons. Consolidating debt, home remodel. Hey, you could be buying a house. Don't pay closing costs, though. Give them a call directly at 919-447-3377 or visit them online at millerlending.com the OG. Don't pay closing costs. Save money every single time. You do love that fat pig.
Morgan. Yes.
Morgan the fat pig. We need a fat conversation about the power play. There are only 2 power play goals for the Carolina Hurricanes this year.
Okay. It's early days.
So I agree. And you also put it in the context that they're a mash unit right now. It's like every 12 hours, I'm getting an email from the Carolina Hurricanes talking about somebody getting called up and somebody getting sent down, right? They're doing all sorts of stuff to make it work. So I'm going to give to you, and I'm staying consistent with how I've talked about the Carolina Hurricanes all season. This is not a matter of you have to understand that it's a long season. Let's not get too crazy, okay? Let's not get too crazy about the course of the regular season. But I have a new tier of extremely online Canes fan.
Okay.
And this new tier is the one that doesn't want to say out loud, fire Rod Brindamore.
Oh, no.
Those exist. Those exist. Usually they pop out.
Not just the Puck Daddy?
No, not just Puck Daddy. I'm talking about actual Canes fans that are extremely online. And when they lose in the playoffs, it's psh. Rod's taking this thing as far as it can go, man. It's time for a new voice in the room, because getting to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of times and running into historically great Florida Panthers teams, well, you know what? That's clearly a coaching problem.
Okay.
No context required. Just they need a new voice to get over on the Panthers. No. See, you can't say it out loud in the regular season. So I know what the tell is. I know the people who are over Rod are the ones that say, take the power play away from Rod. Hire an outside voice.
Okay.
Get him, whatever's happened, don't involve him. Bring in somebody new. Can't fire Rod, but we can get a new voice and then convince him that the power play needs to work another way, right?
That's ACC basketball coaching brain rot. That's exactly what that is. Power play doesn't translate to having super hyper skilled players, does it?
No, what they need is RIP Larry Hunter.
Yes.
That's what they need.
Yeah.
They need to bring in the Princeton style offense for
the Prince State offense.
The Prince State offense for the power play.
Yes.
What's Bobby Lutz doing these days?
They could get him.
The real brain behind the operation.
Yeah.
You know, once Bobby was off the staff, well, you know what happened there? These are real things that people have said, by the way. Real things people have said. Speaking of hoops, this is where Joe Giglio is going to absolutely overreact to exhibition basketball.
Where do you want to start?
I don't know, man. You tell me. I will fully admit, I did not watch any exhibition basketball this weekend. I simply did not have time, nor do I have the energy to extract deeper meaning from exhibition basketball. So, Carolina losing to BYU by 2? Okay, cool. NC State needing a 3 at the end to beat South Carolina in Greensboro? Okay, cool. Like, shout out to JC. He's texting me. Interior is going to be a problem. It's one freaking game in exhibition. And then Duke's had 2 of these, and they've looked pretty good. But again, it's exhibition. So I'm not going to get too wrapped up in this.
Could not disagree more.
Okay.
BYU is a good team. That was a made-for-TV event. They went and played at the Utah Arena. Caleb Wilson looked every bit the part. If you were worried about Caleb Wilson's inability to deliver on the checks that his mouth has been writing, you don't need to worry.
Okay.
22-10 from Caleb Wilson looked really, really good. Same with AJ DeBansa, 18-8 for BYU. You could see it. You're like, okay, what's the number 1 pick supposed to look like? Oh, well, him. Put a pin in the number 1 pick for a second.
Matt Norlander at CBS was apoplectic over some of the freshmen that have shown the ability already. Caleb and DeBansta being 2 of those. And obviously you got Boozer at Duke.
We'll get to him in a second. So Carolina loses 78-76. It was kind of a back and forth game.
Yeah.
BYU, veteran team. They've got some parts where you're like, oh, yeah, that guy, Cato. Yeah, I remember him from somewhere. They have a white shooter. Big shock. BYU's got a white shooter. Stunning. The real question for me for Carolina is now at point guard, because I thought Kyan Evans and Derek Dixon they were a little over their skis in this basketball game.
That's been one of the concerns going into this season, in that Hubert Davis did a very, very good job of correcting the size
They're bigger
issue, but have they seen a downgrade at guard? That's been the big question.
So Seth Trimble, I thought, was really good in this game.
Sure.
But it's that one position that I am concerned. Evans and Dixon combined for 11 points, 6 assists, but they weren't really force factors in this game. The other troubling number for Carolina was 4 of 19 from 3.
Mhm.
To your point, they're bigger. They look a little bit more athletic. They look a little bit better, but where's the shooting going to come from? I know their European import is supposed to be their best shooter. Obviously, they're still trying to figure out if he's going to play or not. Who knows there? 78-76, BYU wins. Caleb Wilson, really good. Seth Trimble, really good. Some people were down on Henry Visar. I thought he was fine. Slow start for him, but I thought he was fine in the second half, ultimately, in this game. So I left that going, all right, Carolina, all right, I see what you're going to be. That's fine. Now let's go to Duke, Tennessee, which I was able to watch. It was on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
What an amazing afternoon for Duke basketball. Because for so many years, Mike Krzyzewski refused to go and play in anybody's gym until it was January. And then invariably they would play at Florida State and lose.
Yeah.
Or they would play at Maryland and lose.
Not
it was
John,
like clockwork.
Not John Shire.
It was like clockwork. The first time they went in somebody's gym, you're like, well, why are they 22-1? And then they go and lose in Raleigh to Mark Gottfried.
Yeah.
And you get the butt slap. It's because, well, they haven't been there.
Yeah.
Well, John decides, not only are we going to go on the road and play on somebody's floor, we're going to go to Tennessee. Shouts to Tennessee. The place was packed, jammed, full capacity to watch Duke. First half, Duke's losing this game. Tennessee, remember, you and I are the only ones who might remember John Shire's first year. They got bully balled by Tennessee. After winning the ACC. They got bully balled by Tennessee. I get it. None of those players are left, but it's still the mentality that you're going to go there. Guess what? First half, Tennessee a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. Malik Brown still not playing. They got pushed around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, Duke wins the second half by 13 points on the road. True road game in a packed house. Tennessee made 2 field goals in the last 9 minutes of this basketball game. Cam Boozer, I apologize, sir.
Okay.
I apologize, sir.
Is this one of these, I wasn't familiar with your game?
I know you're wolf blood, so I know you have it in you. 24 points, fine. 23 boards. Because while Brown's not playing, Gongbo was in foul trouble in the first half. Boozer played 39 of the 40 minutes. Also tell me, like, hey guys, does this little game matter or not? Gungba flying into the second row like Kyle Singler at the ACC tournament in 2010. Just unbelievable effort out of Duke in this game. Juice Evans made 4 threes in this game. Hamenya is the one that I'm going to look at and go, okay, where's the shooting going to come from? Because they need a little bit more than just Juice. And I wonder about their other guards. Boozer also had 6 assists in this game. The offense mostly ran through him.
Mm-hmm.
This was a phenomenal performance. I cannot speak any higher of what I saw. 24 points, 23 rebounds against a grown-ass Tennessee team, and 6 assists in 39 minutes. Duke wins going away 83-76 on a true road game that is going to prepare them for this college basketball season. Also, the whole point, if you are about that life, then be about that life. Cam Boozer's sitting here saying, I'm about that life.
Okay.
24, 23, 6, 39 minutes, down at the half. Fuck you. This is my game. This is my time. Here I am. The preseason player of the year in the ACC was not Cam Boozer. Darian Williams.
Right.
NC State.
Yeah.
The Reckoning.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Joe, it was an exhibition game.
Nope. No. Speaking of checks.
Where was everybody?
Speaking of checks written by somebody that will need to be cashed. You're going to talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. Now, State comes back and wins this game 88-86. They were down 7 at the half. They did score 50 points in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
They did draw up a play for Paula McNeil to hit a step back 3 at the top and win this game.
Yeah.
However, South Carolina won 2 SEC games last year. South Carolina won 12 basketball games last year. They gave up 86 points to South Carolina. Will Wade's played 74 games at McNeese. They gave up 80-plus points only 4 times in 74 games. NC State has to get a lot better defensively. And Darian Williams, your preseason player of the year, 16 points, 7 rebounds. Sounds nice. You ain't here to be nice. You're here to take somebody's heart. You're here to cut somebody's throat. 16-7 ain't getting it done while Cam Boozer's going 24-23. All right.
Yeah.
My big flag here is, like JC Zemble said, Musa Sanya, 11 minutes, not really a factor. That's supposed to be the big that's helping them. Ben Allen Lubin did play well.
A lot of turnovers for Van Allen, though.
But ultimately, they have to get a lot better defensively. The urgency I saw in Duke, obviously State did have in the second half of this basketball game. But buddy, you can't be promising a reckoning and lose them to the fucking chickens.
So
okay,
I pulled up Ken Palm. I will admit, I am admitting I'm not quite in basketball mode, and I'm kind of shoulder shrugging exhibition basketball. Okay,
that's fine.
Ken Palm has them 86, projected to go 4-14 in the SEC. That's last, but it's SEC basketball, Joe. We know how it's
a meat grinder.
It's a meat grinder. You telling me South Carolina wouldn't finish in the top 4 of the ACC? Clearly. I mean, because we understand the ACC sucks. I believe. Yeah. Let me go back to the Ken Palm here. What do we got in terms of overall conferences? You know, the Atlantic Coast Conference is only the 5th best conference according to Ken Palm right now, before the season even starts. Where the SEC is number 1. Okay, so think of it that way, Joe. Think of it that way.
This wasn't marathon oil. Again, this is all in the prism of, if you're about that life, then you got to be about that life.
I know what you're saying.
I thought Caleb Wilson was. I thought Cam Boozer and Gongba was really surprising to me. He hit a 3 start of that second half.
You saw flashes
Pat
of it last
Gongba,
year.
right? He could be a real difference maker for them. I was wrong about Dame Sarr. He's got a lot of work to do. I don't think he'll be the X factor that I thought he might have had a chance to be.
It's exhibition basketball, Joe.
No, but you can see a guy and know what they are.
Okay. I know, but there's ebbs and flows to the
Well, you
season.
got to watch the games too to understand.
I understand.
Ken Palm's not everything. Sometimes you got to watch and see. And
Well,
I thought the second half of that game, again, NC State coming back, winning the game. That's a good thing. These are good. That's a good test for your team.
Yeah.
I joke about marathon oil, but Will Wade will get something out of that. But it really will be on that defensive end. They have to play better defensively than that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna occupy the role of Gary Parrish, where I only talk about Ken Palm, Bart Torvik, and Evan Maya.
Well, and maybe I'll third, yeah.
And maybe I'll throw in some Geisinger numbers too while I'm at it. You know what I'm saying? They won on the road. They got ice cream, right?
I don't know if that's a thing this year.
I don't think it's a thing. Probably.
I don't know.
I want to say Jared maximized the road ice cream the best he could.
I think Jared took it away because he was like, no, wait a second. I got to take this off. Jared wants State to be good.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. And on top of that, when it became a thing that like they still haven't gotten ice cream yet, it's probably for the best. You just don't do that. But where you can get ice cream, mention the Canes being back at home, right? Guess what that means? Slavin Sunday opportunity on Tuesday, plus the hockey pucks.
Yes. The hockey puck chocolate ice cream ones are delicious.
I need to get one of those. I haven't had one yet.
Chocolate cookie, chocolate ice cream, chocolate sprinkles.
I'm willing to power through on that. I'm very excited about that possibility. I don't know if I'll have a chance to go tomorrow, but I will have one of those eventually. So go to tworoosters.com. You still have an opportunity. This is it for fall flavors and whatnot this week. So like those pumpkin and everything else, apple, all that kind of
maple
stuff.
Bourbon.
This is it. Go get your pints now before they switch things over into November. Go to tworoosters.com. Big thanks to Brassfield Accounting. You don't want to have exhibition season. Like exhibition season doesn't work for your finances, your books.
No. You got to be serious all the time.
All the time. The reckoning could come for you if you aren't serious about it. Okay? That's why you need a fractional CFO. So contact our guy, Chris Brassfield, brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, that's brassfieldaccounting.com. And of course, our friends at Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. OG corporate champions from the jump. Bugsbite.com. Support them because they support us. You might not be thinking about mosquitoes right now because it's cooler. Totally get that. But that doesn't mean the critters aren't going to be active trying to get in your house as it gets colder. So bugsbite.com, you can bundle and save and start thinking about your mosquito treatments for next year as well. So check them out online at bugsbite.com. So I was in Delaware this weekend. Hi.
Delaware.
I'm in Delaware. Imagine being magically whisked away to Delaware and spending your weekend at Delaware Stadium to watch Bands of America Mid-Atlantic Region Finals.
Oh.
Fortunately, Enlo did not advance. Great show. I thought they've
Did you just say fortunately or unfortunately?
Unfortunately.
Oh.
No, it means
I thought
no.
you meant like I didn't have to stay there any longer than I had to.
No. I mean,
you said unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Unfortunately. They did not advance, which is a bummer.
Sam Howell. Yes.
It's a bummer because they put on a good show.
Yeah.
Die with a Smile is how they close it out.
Nice.
They do a really, really good job with it, right? But marching band competitions are weird to me, man.
You don't say.
It's all subjective. Some of the shows aren't like their Broadway shows are not exactly marching band shows, in my opinion.
Uh-oh.
I have hot takes about that.
The Czechoslovakian judge gotcha, huh?
Yeah. Was it Green Hope? They like swept the 4A category.
Whoa.
They did a Game of Thrones theme.
That makes it worse, right? Like you're okay losing to some random band from
Right,
like
but
New
Green
Hampshire,
Hope's doing it.
But
right?
when you lose to Green Hope, you're like, no, we're better than them.
Well, I think Caleb even joked like, well, we did better than Green Level. That's all that matters. I'm like, a little competition, you know? So regardless, I was up in Delaware. Kelly's family is from that area, from Newark. They went to, my father-in-law went to the University of Delaware. And it was fun to go back up there and go check out some stuff that I've not had an opportunity to check out, right? Although there's a couple stories here, and it's all leading to a grand finale of today's podcast. The first one is I was shocked that in 2025 I cannot get the ACC network. So I went to Grotto Pizza there on the main drag in Newark, just outside the university. And for some, I say Grotto Pizza, and you're going, oh man, I can taste that marinara. And for others, you go, that is trash pizza. There is no in between.
Okay.
When you talk about Grotto Pizza. But I went because that was a sports bar version of a Grotto Pizza, the Blue Hen Tavern. I could get Dogfish 60, like fresh Dogfish 60. So I'm good.
Whoa.
All right. And I got the Syracuse Georgia Tech game on, which makes sense because if you don't go to Delaware, you're probably going to Syracuse.
Okay.
For a lot of people in that area. And the Carolina Virginia game is starting. So it's like, all right, I need to watch it. So I asked the guy, hey, can you put on the ACC network? He's like, I don't know if we get the ACC network. And sure enough, he's flipping through. He finally gets the ACC network, and their sports package did not include the ACC network. So can we add Delaware to the ACC at this point?
I mean, we have to, right?
They've moved up. I think they're Conference USA now. So let's bring them on, right? We are a long ways away from the wing T. And was it Tubby Raymond, I believe, was the coach? Regardless. So I was bothered by that. I did go to the Deer Park. And Joe, dude, I've never felt older.
Okay.
Like this is pure college bar in every sense of the word.
Okay.
It's essentially Delaware's version of Mitch's Tavern, if you will. It's Delaware's version of going to He's Not Here. And I don't know if you've been to He's Not lately on some of these game days. It is... You realize, nah, dude, you might think in your mind it's still 2005. No, it's not. You ain't as young as you once was. You're an old man, right? Regardless. So that's why I was up in Delaware, is for the Mid-Atlantic Bands of America. It just so happens that I was at University of Delaware Stadium.
Okay.
After the urinal wall had gone viral. This is...
Sorry, the urinal what?
The urinal wall. Did you not see this last week?
Okay.
Did you not see this story last week?
No.
So there's a Twitter account that goes by College Football Campus Tour. He's an influencer. He's a social media guy that goes around and shows you all the quirks of various stadiums across the country.
I can smell that picture.
So This guy goes on this tour. And he highlights various quirks of various college football stadiums. So he gets to the University of Delaware and he visits the infamous pissing wall. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. As Joe said, he can smell this picture. I asked my father-in-law, I was like, hey, what's up with the urinal wall? He goes, oh yeah. This is my first time at the stadium. I just have to read what the quote. Let me pull up the family group chat here real quick.
So are those pipes on the side there? Does water run out of that?
Water runs down those pipes, and then it eventually, when they want to clean it out, they just hose it out, and it goes into that central grate. Okay,
so it's like a football field. There's like a crown there.
Okay, so I texted my father-in-law, and I said, I don't know if you knew this or not, but UD Stadium has gone viral this month over the pissing wall on the visitor side. He goes, it's like, yes, the pee wall. It made for a quick in and out. Pissing in a trough allowed for a shoulder-to-shoulder experience. Not so great if you were there next to someone stinking drunk and lacked careful aim. Now, it gets better.
Joe, you were in that room, right?
Yes.
Is there an actual dip in the floor, or like that just looks like you're literally in an empty room and you're
so here's another angle of it.
Okay, there's a dip.
Yeah, so there's a dip and the water runs down the marble.
Okay.
Nothing but the finest. So the water runs down the marble and goes into that grate. But the other picture that I was showing you was like that's the center grate to hose it all out after a drunk night. So yes, it all just runs down. I my guess is you don't want to be peeing where the grate is because you're getting everything coming and you get to witness it all.
Yeah.
Because you can't help but look down, right?
Yeah, it's like the ancient Romans.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it gets better. Okay. What those pictures and the viral videos about Delaware's urinal wall did not highlight was on the updated side. So that's the visitor side.
Okay.
If you go to the home side, the main entry point, they've updated their bathrooms. But University of Delaware respects its history, Joe. And on this side, which you did not see last week, there is a plaque above a section of an old pissin wall. And it reads, as we zoom and enhance, this piece of Delaware Stadium has been preserved to commemorate the wall that once existed here and will forever be remembered throughout the history of Delaware athletics. Before you FOIA it, I texted North Carolina AD Bubba Cunningham. I texted you and Bubba. And I said, I need a plaque like this over the Keenan Trough with whatever you do with the building. You renovate that building, you move the building. I need you to take a section of the trough in the men's room and put it there with a plaque that says the same thing. We honor UNC basketball history and the Smith Center by preserving this wall, by preserving this metal trough. Okay. And obviously Caleb is there and Jacob's on this trip too. So I asked them, did you guys go into the bathroom and see the urinal wall? They're like, what? I said, yeah, the urinal wall. It's like, no, we just went to the actual urinal. I go, no, sons. No, absolutely not. I want you to drink all this soda right now. Caleb, grab the Igloo cooler and drink all that water right now because you are going to honor your family. Your great-grandfather peed on this wall.
Just watch.
Your great-grandfather peed on this wall. Your grandfather peed on this wall. I have peed on this wall. Honor it.
Our DNA will be here.
Honor the family. Honor the tradition. Pee on this wall. On that note, I thought I'd give you a little Delaware history.
5 stars only.
Where else are you going to get urinal wall content like this? Where else are you going to get this? We'll see y'all tomorrow.